All right, welcome back, everybody, to another production meeting. Ryan, Matt, and Alex are with me today. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
I am awesome. I started school today. Yay!
He's finally gonna learn to read.
It's coming slowly. Yeah,
No,
all good.
never too late to start, man. Never too late to start.
We were on
read
G.
or to
We were
start
on the letter
school?
G, and G was for giraffe.
It's good times. What are you guys up to?
Well, just watching a bunch of movies this week. We watched Project Power. I watched Capone. I watched a couple Korean films called The Wailing, and I made Jeannie watch Train to Busan. So what else did I
Yay.
watch? Yay, I know. It was a lot of stuff. I enjoyed all the Korean films.
The whaling. The
Matt-
whaling. Is
Matt,
that about fish?
Huh? No, I'm trying to think if there are any fish in there. No, it's about a ghost.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Matt, I own that movie, so I'm glad to hear somebody else mention it.
Which one?
Wailing.
Oh, really? I was very, very surprised.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I did not watch anything this weekend other than Project Power, and I just told you guys LA Confidential because it's been on my to-watch list for a while. Because I told Clint that me and some friends, we went to Baltimore. We went to the aquarium. Yay, that was so much fun, sort of, because they can only do so much with coronavirus. They're like, you can't go over here. You can't go over here. And you can't, we're not going to have this show. So we're just walking around looking at empty tanks for a lot because they were like, this animal's sleeping. You can't see him.
Wait, so they're protecting the fish from the coronavirus?
Yes. And so we did that on
Do they
Saturday.
have little masks?
They had display things that had masks on them. So we did that on Saturday, did nothing on Sunday, and then we actually went to the Norfolk Zoo on Monday. And I told Clint, even animals have a concept of Monday because they were all lying around no matter what exhibit you went to. Man, there's this tiger. Oh, he's sleeping. Oh,
Was
man,
the
there's
lion
these
lying around?
No, I don't get it. The rhinos were lying around. The Australian whatevers were lying around, whatever they had there. And I was just like, well, at least we didn't go 5 hours to see this. But it was overall fun. So, but that's what I was doing most of this weekend.
What were you up to, Ryan?
I worked.
Boo.
You worked?
I watched. I
wonder what that's like.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, you guys will know for a while. Yeah, we're getting. But I watched Project Power. Just drug my feet through Project Power. I did not watch Capone. I did watch Tales from Earthsea and Stonehurst Asylum. And something else. I watched some very forgettable movies.
I've not heard either of those things.
Neither have
I haven't either. He probably just made those names up.
Stonehurst Asylum. Stonehurst Asylum was January 2019. It's based on an Edgar Allan Poe story. Didn't make it up. And Tales from Earthsea is a Studio Ghibli film from 2004 or 6 that was directed by Miyazaki's son, and it's really not very good.
Aw.
I was gonna say you'll have to fight Clint over that because Clint loves that studio.
I mean, I've not been disappointed with most of Ghibli films so far, but that was, I mean, they had a lot of behind the scenes stuff with working on that one and Howl's Moving Castle at the same time, and that's got to be one of the case where one of those films will turn out bad.
So basically, it's like they were due for a dud.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, some of their films are better than others by a long margin.
Yeah, exactly. Like Cars 3 in Pixar. So
What are you talking about? Cars 3 is the best.
I mean,
Amen
it's
to
better.
that.
It's better than Cars 2.
Oh yeah. And nothing else.
well,
It's better than
that's their
Planes.
margin.
I don't know if Planes counts.
It shouldn't. It really shouldn't.
It's better than Boats.
All right.
I don't know if that's one.
That should not be a thing.
But it's not better than the greatest movie, Speed 2.
Oh, Cruise
Oh.
Control.
Mm.
Here's my
Wow.
impression of Speed 2. Hey guys, what's going on?
Man, I caught
You
everything
need
on
Sandy
that.
Bullock in the background.
Yeah.
All
We get a
right.
Speed 2 poster.
Are we ready
We
for
go
some
right
news?
back here.
I'm ready
Yeah.
for some news.
Some news. All right. So Will Smith and Kevin Hart are going to star in a Planes, Trains, and Automobiles remake. Boo.
Boo is right.
Is this under Why Do We Need This?
Yeah, it should be.
I mean,
why do we need this?
I'm not hating that. I think I think that's an interesting direction. The urban direction. I think it'll be fine. I mean, it's what's the worst that can happen?
Right along.
That it's being made.
Yeah.
It's
Or
just
right
not
along
gonna,
too.
Yeah, right. It's not gonna feel like it's not gonna be anything like the first movie, or the original movie. So
Maybe it'll be exactly like the original movie. It'll be just like the same script and everything.
yeah, Steve Martin's gonna come out somewhere and he's gonna be, I don't know, some type of clerk or something.
Listen, John Hughes is gone, so let's leave his stuff alone, please.
They're exclusively going for his stuff now. That's all that they're doing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they are.
I think
Just
yeah,
wait.
There's a certain charm that Steve Martin and John Candy have in that movie that makes that movie as memorable as it is. 'Cause it's a good story and all, but you know, the comedy wouldn't fly with, I don't think, anybody else, and I don't think it's gonna fly with anybody else.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are so pessimistic. I'm ready for this. Let's make it.
I think you just want content.
That might be it too.
He's starved.
I had to watch Project
You
Power.
starved for
this week.
content.
Ugh.
Give me-
And that didn't make you pessimistic.
The best movie on Netflix right now.
I had to go watch an American Pickle again.
All
To
right.
get the taste out of my mouth.
I didn't get to ask you guys how that was. Not that anybody else watching will want to know how that is again. Not good.
The first 25 minutes are okay.
And then it went
I'll watch,
downhill from
I'll
there.
watch Act 1 and turn it off.
And the last 25 minutes last for an eternity. And not in a good way.
It was Alex's favorite movie this year.
Oh man, was it? Loved every pickling moment of that movie.
I think, Ryan, I think that you should watch it just for the supersized military-esque drone that can open vats of pickles, apparently.
You can also watch it to learn
You
how
see
to
what I
make
mean.
pickles from trash.
And rainwater.
And rainwater.
Because it's
All right.
that easy.
More why do we need this? Peacock acquires the Clueless series reboot. There was a reason why the first series lasted 6 episodes.
Well, I mean, at least this way, I heard because the original series was supposed to be. I don't think I watched the original series. Like you said, it only lasted like 6 episodes. But it was supposed to be using the characters from the movie. Like it was a continuation, I think, of the movie. And like this new series is like a complete reboot. You know, just the whole. I guess who knows if they're just going to use the Clueless, name and what kind of characters they're going to have in it. So just approach it like it's not even related.
Well, sorry, Alex.
No, you go ahead. I don't really
know.
have anything.
I don't know. I just like Clueless like defined like a whole generation. It came out in 1994 and it kind of like stapled like the 90s in like teen culture, where it's like I don't know if this series can actually do the same thing that the movie did.
Probably not. I don't. That's what I'm saying. I just don't think they might as well just not be related.
Yeah,
because back in 94, all you had were radio and TV and movies. Now we have culture in our face all the time. You can see everything. Right. So I don't think a show, especially just a TV series on Peacock, would be able to do that. I don't know if that's what they're going to try to do. Like I said, I think they just bought the name Clueless just to have some buzz going into making the show.
Right. Oh well. Okay. So more on why do we need this. 47 Ronin sequel is being developed by Ron Juan. I guess that's how you pronounce his name. He's the star of Mulan. That is going to direct it. Apparently this movie is going to be set like 300 years into the future, and it's going to be like a cyberpunk type movie. The first one sucked. I'm not really sure again why we need this.
I was gonna say, I remember 47 Ronin. I've never watched it, but I remember that making a list of like top 10, worst movies of this time period or this interval of years.
Yeah, I remember. I saw when you first read that news. The first thought that went through my head was, "Did I see 47 Ronin?" And I'm pretty sure I have. And then I'm like, "Did I like 47 Ronin?"
I'm pretty sure I did.
And no. I was like, I don't think I did. Do other people like 47 Ronin? No, I don't think so. I mean, I didn't do any research. I don't know if it has a cult following or not. Like I said, I don't recall. I'm pretty sure I watched it in the theater. I don't remember anything about it. I'm pretty sure it was bad. I would take this news of a sequel very lightly. I mean, I'm sure it's being developed, but if it does come out, I doubt it comes out anyway like that. I just don't see it. That just seems too far from the original content.
Right.
I'm unnecessarily excited for it.
Really?
Ryan's like steampunk. Yes.
I remember seeing first in December 2013 when it came out, and I was like, "This is really bad." But then I was like, "You know what, though? If that were good, I would have loved it." Obviously. So I wouldn't mind. Like, let's take it out of the setting that's been adapted before, and just toss it in this weird cyberpunk samurai future. And yeah, I'm on board. Keanu Reeves has turned his career around since then. I don't know if he's going to be in it because, spoilers, he dies at the end of the last one. But
I think it's a case of trying to catch his popularity and just ride that thing out. I mean, he's always been a decent actor, but you got John Wick, you got the Matrix, which he's probably not even going to be that much in it. Let's be honest. He's got the Ted and
Bill.
Yes.
Bill and Ted.
Ted and Bill. Ned and Ted.
Remember my because I couldn't remember the name of that. I was like Ned and Ted's Big Break. Because I couldn't remember the name of the movie. No,
Awesome.
so but he's got a whole slew of things coming out, and then we talked about last week that there's going to be a John Wick 5. So it's like, even if it's bad, let's just do it. Get people. It's got Keanu Reeves in it. People associate him with good movies, at least right now, and they're like, let's go see it. So it's like, even bad publicity is good publicity.
And even in 2013's version of 47 Ronin, there are like good ideas that went into adapting that movie. It's just a terrible movie, and just the idea accidentally got dropped into a blender, and then they kind of poured some of it out in a cup, and then dropped the rest on the third floor. And so we get this very messily edited, poorly edited, mismarketed movie with a weird white savior figure for no reason. But there are interesting ideas, the way they play with fantasy in that story, and I wouldn't mind them taking those ideas and taking it out of something that we've already established as a good story. Back when Japan did it in 1943. I don't remember when the original is.
Right. I don't remember either.
Can I stream 47 Ronin somewhere?
Wasn't there a movie with Liam Neeson called Ronin? Something like that. It's like a
Robert De
1990s
Niro movie.
It's De Niro.
Robert De Niro. Jean
then I'm
Reno.
And
I'm thinking the wrong movie then.
the movie Last Nights in 2015 with Clive Owen also adapted the 47 Ronin story.
Yeah.
1941. That's the original.
Oh, okay.
4.5 hours.
Oh, fun.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Is that a Criterion collection?
I know. I bought it from South Korea. It's an official copy.
Okay.
Love the air quotes.
And
Official.
official.
That's the only way to own that movie.
Hey, whenever you love movies and you got to have your collection, you get it any way you can.
Okay, so the next bit of news, Batman writer Matt Tomlinson is talking very briefly about how Matt Reeves is going to portray Bruce Wayne's trauma, assuming of his parents' death and everything, in the new Batman movie. I put this in the why do we need this on just for the pure sake of, do we really need to go through Batman's origin yet one more time? In 89, we kind of touched on it. In 2005, we touched on it. We touched on it very briefly in Batman v Superman. And now yet again. My personal opinion is that I think that they should probably look at this like the MCU did Spider-Man. We got his origin kind of very briefly and kind of like these throwaway lines in Homecoming and I think even in Civil War. And I think that the MCU kind of went at it at the right way, where it's like, we know what happens to Spider-Man. We know why he's Spider-Man. We understand what his origin is. So I'm kind of curious in why Matt Reeves wants to go through his Bruce Wayne's origin yet again.
Well, in my opinion, the first one with Michael Keaton, or the first major theatrical release, is 89, right. And then 2005. So that's what. So now it's 2020, 2021, whenever that movie's gonna be released, and that's a big wide span. I don't knock them for reintroducing the origin stories. Whereas Spider-Man, when did the first Tobey Maguire one come out? 2002, 3?
2002. 2001.
So you got that one.
No, 2002, because they took out the World Trade Center.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you got that one, and then the third one, came out 2008? 7? Something like that. And then they had the Amazing Spider-Man, which was 2010, 11, and then they have the Spider-Man that came out now. And it's a much more condensed time for Spider-Man. So they were like, you know what? We've done it in this amount of time. We've retold the story, and they have Spider-Verse technically that has multiple origin stories technically. So it's like they were like,
Right.
yeah, we don't need to do this again. It's not the same thing with Batman.
I don't
It's got a way wider like range of time.
Was there even a lot of origin in the 89 Batman? Like, isn't he just basically Batman to begin with?
More so of Joker, to be honest.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
I feel like the only origin we've gotten from Batman is Batman Begins. You know, it is what it is. He's just trying to, like, it'll flesh out his character a lot. He's just trying to, you know, put the motivations in and why the character acts like that. It'll take up more time in his movie. That's the only reason.
I discovered that, what is it, Mattson Tomlin? That's one of the
Yeah.
Batman writers. Is also a screenwriter from another movie that came out recently, #1 on Netflix, called Project Power, that we're going to talk about. So I really don't care about Batman.
I don't care because of spite.
If one writer is to be trusted for now I've seen 2 of his projects. I didn't like the screenplay in either one, so I'm not looking forward to him working on another one.
That's fair. I mean,
True.
if he's going to do it this way in one, he's probably going to do similar features in the next.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
Okay,
it's funny
so
that
moving
you
on.
bring up before you move on to the next thing. I remember I posted something about how there's going to be the next Arkham Batman game. I don't know if an official title has come out, but it's gonna, I think, incorporate. There's something called the League of Owls or something like that. There's some type of
Court of Owls.
Court of Owls. That was it. And so
Mm-hmm.
there's
That's the rumor.
little leak of a map of some kind of one location. So it's like really in early development, but so it is being made. We just don't know much about it. So I was like, just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you, Alex. I'm willing to bet that that's probably all going to come ahead on the 22nd of August because DC is having their Comic-Con called DC Fandom, and it's going to incorporate a crap ton of like DC stuff that's going to come out. I'm willing to bet that you're probably going to get like a trailer for Suicide Squad, not only the movie but the game because the game's coming out.
Yeah, James Gunn said a lot of stuff was going to drop in the next few days for that. So
yeah, I keep seeing not trailers but commercials for that. So yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. It's like it's going to be like a free thing that they just like expanded into 2 days, and they're going to have like Comic-Con style panels that are going to go on with the games and the TV shows and all the other stuff that's specifically for DC. And I'm willing to bet that if this is like successful, you'll probably see Marvel doing this probably next year. Anything that has to do with Marvel, they'll probably do it next year. So, all right. So moving on. Shia LaBeouf has been rumored to be playing Iceman in the MCU.
Whoa.
Woohoo! I don't care. As long as they get his character right. I really don't give a crap who does this. As long as they get his character right. I like the first X-Men movies, they kind of like touched on like who he was and like what his powers are and everything, but I'm waiting for...
I thought Shia LaBeouf was done with big blockbuster films. I thought he was like, after Transformers, he was like, no, man, I'm done. I'm not doing any of these big budget films anymore. And there is a rumor now that is he even cool with Disney? I mean, Mr. Even Stevens?
Mr. Lewis Stevens?
Yeah.
Well, he did Holes.
Yeah, I don't know if he's on good terms with them. I don't know. I mean, he got in trouble, probably not in general, because, you know, he had all those runs in with the law and such. So who's to say? I'm sure if somebody came up to his door and was like, hey, Shia, you want to be in this X-Men movie? You're going to be Iceman. He'd be like, all right, bring me the script.
He's like, I'm going to be Wolverine. And they're like, no, you're going to be Iceman. He's like, but I want to be Wolverine.
He's going to be like, fine, give me the script. I want to be Wolverine. No. Okay, fine.
it'll play it like Wolverine.
I mean, I shared that thing on the Facebook page about somebody's rendering of what he would look like as Iceman, but it actually ended up looking like Hugh Jackman's version of Wolverine, and it was like, other than being, you know, obviously smaller, it was just kind of like, I can kind of picture him as Wolverine / Iceman, sort of. Sort of.
Yeah,
So
I just no.
You're the
I don't know.
X-Men guy, so you if you don't personally care for it, then that's saying something.
Well, I can see him more as Iceman because of his stature and mainly from his time with Transformers. It's kind of like this because Iceman in the books he's kind of like this goofy kid, and he's always had that like that personality. I don't think I can see Shia as like Wolverine. I don't know. There's just something about it that just doesn't add up. Like Tom Hardy, like somebody like that type of stature, I can see as like Wolverine. But I don't think that they're gonna cross him over now that he's Venom. So, but whatever.
Probably not.
Yeah. So the last bit of news that I wanted to kind of go over is the creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender have exited the Netflix live action series. Apparently, Netflix was not really willing to give up that much creative control to these two. There's a lot of stuff that has come out over the last week or so about what happened, why they left. There's rumors that saying that Netflix is trying to whitewash it. And the creators have said very publicly before they went into this that if they ever had a chance to do a live action series, that they were going to make it as culturally appropriate and representation as possible. And when they signed up for this, Netflix basically said that they would give them full creative control in whatever they wanted to do. And now that seems not to be the case. I am a huge Last Airbender fan. I was not a huge fan of M. Night Shyamalan's epic failure of a movie. So I'm kind of bummed about this. Like they obviously had like some sort of winning formula with the first, like the series. And as much as like Legend of Korra is not on par with Last Airbender, it was still a good show. So I'm kind of like very reluctant to like even watch this now. What do you guys think?
I think reluctant is too minor of a word. Like any excitement or any like anticipation for that series is absolutely gone. If your creators are like, you know what, you're not letting us do what we want to do, we're out. I feel that speaks volumes for how Netflix is making this, and I don't think anyone should pay it any attention. I mean, maybe it'll be good. There's always a chance, but at the same time, it's not what they wanted. So I don't think I give it like a 3% chance that it'll be any good. People are going to be upset about it.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
I have a lot. So Alex, if you wanted to go first.
No, I really have nothing. So I could see that you have had something. I was like, I'm gonna let him. Let him take the ball on this one.
Matt, I agree with you. I think there's no worse sign than the people who made the thing that you're adapting leave the adaptation that you're doing of it. Netflix has managed to score well with. I was trying to think of another example, but I was thinking of its adaptation of The Witcher, despite the fact that it's got some backlash for not following some of the stuff that the book does. You know, it's gotten a pretty strong following nonetheless, despite changes that people were avid against before it came out. And so I might give it Avatar a 10% chance because I know that Netflix creators sometimes have managed to produce good quality despite what people are saying ahead of time. But there is Avatar is so near perfect, and there's no way that they can reach that bar And if the original creators are seeing that lack of control being taken away from the people who set that bar in the first place and leaving, I don't know why Netflix is continuing to do it in the first place. I don't see any point in continuing something that's going to be. I mean, Netflix has not had a really, really big dud of a show. I think, I mean, I'm sure they have, but you know, I don't think they've outraged people since the MCU started pulling out. As far as like really outraged fans of something that they had put on content. And so, I mean, between that and their upcoming adaptation of Cowboy Bebop, I'm wondering why they're trying to go that route right now anyway. And so I know it won't be as bad as M. Night Shyamalan's film, so at least I will watch it, and maybe I'll get some nostalgic vibe from it, like Ghost in the Shell's adaptation was bad, but I own it because, you know, it's kind of fun to see different scenes adapted in a live-action sense anyway.
Right. Just
where M. Night Shyamalan somehow managed to not even do that because, you know, pronouncing characters like Ong.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one doesn't make sense to me. They say it in the show. You can just watch the show. Yeah.
Right. And I agree with you, Ryan. It's basically like you have these two creators that with the movie they kind of backed out. Like they had no like creative control over what was going on because it was all M. Night Shyamalan. And then like you get this live action series and you're going to produce it in a series that like live action as it should have been instead of a movie. And this is an Emmy award winning animated series. Like it has won award after award, and it's because of these two. And now you're gonna just like try and bully, or not really bully, I shouldn't use that word, but just like try and take their creative control over something that they have won awards over. If I'm Netflix and I hire these two to create a live action series of Avatar, you do you. Like you obviously know what you're doing. Go at it. Like whatever you want, here's the money. Like that's all they had to do. And for some reason they couldn't let it go.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to set those guys, put them in the position, and then say, you know what? No, man. I mean, it's like, why are you hiring them to do that in the first place?
Right.
That kind of production mentality is something I would expect from Disney or Sony, preferably in general Disney, because we saw it happen again and again and again with Star Wars.
Yeah,
right.
I literally was gonna say Solo instantly was a big example of that.
The only way that I can see like Netflix making this decision, or at least getting this reaction, is maybe it was a budget reason. You say it's creative, but maybe it was just strictly money, and that, I mean, you can't blame them for that if they're like, no, we can't afford that, or no, I mean, they could afford it, but no, we're not going to spend that much money on this. I mean, that's probably only like logistical way that I could see this happening and not really faulting Netflix. But at the same time, they put themselves in that boat. So
yeah, right.
Yeah, I thought the best. When they announced it, I wasn't sure why they were remaking it in the first place. You know, Star Wars has managed a tremendous amount of success doing things in live action and animation and connecting them, and we've got 2 Kyoshi books. Do something else from the Avatar world and see how it goes before you yet again mess up something that we love.
Right. But I think you have a good point though, Matt.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, you have a good point, Matt, because I mean, Netflix is very, they're known to cut shows 3 years in, 2 years in for budgetary reasons or whatever. I mean, I'm going to be very highly surprised to see the Umbrella Academy goes past their 3 years. I mean, Daredevil lasted 3 years and they cut it for random reasons and stuff. So you may be right. I mean, they may have tried to be cautious going forward because,
you know, you bring that up as far as their runs go. Another scenario would be how many episodes they wanted to do, which is also fun, you know, money. It's like, hey, we want to space this out with this many episodes. And Netflix is like, no, this is how many episodes you're going to get. You need to do what you're going to do in this many episodes.
Right. I mean, that's also a good point too, because like the Air book 1, season 1 is what, 20 some odd episodes? And
yeah,
a half hour long.
23, something like that.
Yeah, because I know the last season was only like 18 or 20. So yeah, that's probably a good point. I mean, if you're trying to cram 22 episodes into a Netflix series, that's a lot, especially with if it's live action and as special effects heavy that show is going to have to be. Yeah, I can probably see that.
Or we can have 5 guys doing martial arts to throw a rock about that big for one really long take.
Yeah, no. Okay, so I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different because I seen these on Screen Rant. I wanted to see if you guys had any like opinions about this. So the first one is that the cast of Green Lantern, a series that is supposed to be going to HBO Max, has basically been cast, and nobody knows yet. So I was just gonna read through the cast and like see what you guys thought about the casting choices and if like you guys had any like different casting choices for these characters. So James Marsden would play Hal Jordan. Jovan Adepo was locked in for Jon Stewart, and Linda Cardinelli would be in consideration for Carol Ferris, and Michael K. Williams was going to be up for Sinestro. I don't know how you guys like. I can see Marsden being Hal, and the other guy, the Jovan Adepo, he's in Watchmen. He's one of the characters in Watchmen right now. So I think, I mean, Hal Jordan seems like a good casting choice. What did you guys think?
This is the first time I've heard that, or at least seen. I'm trying to figure out what year it is right now with that cast. I feel like it's like 2002. Not 2020. I mean, that's cool. I can see Marston doing it, and I'm down for Cardinelli doing her thing. I had to look up Michael K. Williams because I didn't think I couldn't pinpoint the name, but it's the dude from The Wire. So
yeah,
I'm down with that. Those are solid actors if that is the lineup that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm iffy on the choice. It's I'll wait and see. Basically, it's like I don't necessarily disagree with it, but I'm not ecstatic over the names. I was like Matt. I couldn't put some of the names for a second. So it's a wait and see for me. I have no idea.
I feel like James Marsden definitely got cast thanks to his Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic.
Yay!
I thought it was a questionable choice because that's how Ryan Reynolds got the part, was because he's funny. But James Marsden,
they're like, James Marsden, you're doing an amazing job with the CGI. We're going to give you a ring that just does straight up CGI.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I'd be on board because James Marsden can do some pretty. He's pretty good. And he's got some good dramatic range to him. So I'm hoping that he got that for being funny, and then he can keep it for being a good actor. And he's not a CGI suit fighting a big space cloud.
27 Green Lantern dresses.
Wow. Okay. So the next one was casting choices for Kraven. Kraven the Hunter is Spider-Man villain. This is the rumor that is supposed to be who is supposed to be in the next villain for Spider-Man. Home fries, homesick, whatever it's supposed to be.
Spider-Man, Home
Alone. There's some interesting choices on here. There's Robert Millay. Apparently he was in 300. I'm just going to go through the people that you may recognize. Christopher, what in the world? Hivju? He was on.
Bless you, sir.
He was the Northman from Game of Thrones.
Mormont.
Yeah. I thought that would be a pretty good choice. Charlo Copley from Chappie in District 9. He was also in the A-Team. I don't know about that one.
He played a pretty similar character in Elysium.
Like a hunter type character?
Mm.
Cool. There's also a female on here, which I thought was kind of neat. I'm not even going to try and butcher her name. She's like South African, I think she is, or Hispanic. I don't know. I thought like playing the gender twist on Hunter or Craven the Hunter would probably be pretty neat. Luke Evans is in here. He was Gaston in Beauty and the Beast.
Mm.
Let's see.
I think
Jeffrey
I
Dean
heard
Morgan
that.
was an interesting choice.
I think I heard Luke Evans as well. Like when you started this, I was like, I know I've heard a name or two attached, and I think he was one of them.
Yeah. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is an interesting choice. I think he's a little older, but I think he's still kind of an interesting choice. And that's it. Any names out there that pop out? Interesting.
Not really. Who is the dude who played? I know a couple of movies he's in, but at the end of Batman versus Superman, I think there was that scene with Lex Luthor, and it was Deathstroke. And who was the guy who was Deathstroke? It was like Magnola.
Oh,
Magnolia.
yeah. Mangione something.
Yeah, I never remember his
Joe
name.
Manganiello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just that name popped in my head. I was like, okay, he could be a cool fit for that.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I can see that.
Yeah. When you
All right.
posted
He was
that,
in the best movie ever, Magic Mike.
fan of Magic Mike, Alex?
I have all the movies, man. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
All two of them.
All two of them.
Yeah, I think when you posted the list and the group, I remember looking at that list and being like, wow, every single one of these would do a great job. I think it's probably the case where if that's a well-written character, anybody could do a really good job in that role. I think the one I was opposed to was Jeffrey Dean Morgan, not because I don't think he would do a great job, but because having a slightly older take on the character has already kind of been done for Vulture.
Yeah,
Not that
that's true.
the comic character's young per se, but
Speaking of Vulture, I remember seeing recently on either comicbooks.com or Screen Rant somewhere where they're like, this is what the original concept of Vulture would have looked like. This is what he could have stayed with. And I clicked on it, and it was just a Twitter post, and I was like, he looks exactly the same, except maybe the wings aren't feathered out. They're maybe like slender more.
But
And I'm
Alex, that's what he could have looked like.
like, oh yeah, wow,
He could have looked
man,
like
what
that.
could have been? Would have changed my outlook on that movie. What could have been?
Would it?
Absolutely.
All right. That's the end of the news, unless you guys have anything else.
What we were mentioning on the PlayStation rumors have becoming a little bit more and more true. November 13th is the rumored date for the PS5 to be released, and the going around rumor price of $499 for the standard edition has been it. I'm thinking that's pretty much that's their lock-in.
Right.
And then $399 for the digital version, especially since the rumors came out of the Xbox Series X not having a date, but a price of a whopping $600, which I think is said to be the most expensive Xbox. I don't know if it's not the most expensive console, period, because I remember back in the day, PS3 was, when they first came out, that was around what they were charging. I remember that's why we didn't get a PS3 for a long time. But anyway, November 13th, and I'm like, that's a pretty solid day. I mean, we're getting to the point where they're gonna have to announce the date soon because we're 2.5 months from release date, and then my prediction is pre-orders are gonna come out a month or so around from that release date. So when you can pre-order, people can sign up for pre-orders on like GameStop and Target, or they can sign up for the notifications for when you can get the news that pre-orders are up. I think those rumors are true. I mean, it's like why would they not be?
It's definitely a lot better date than Black Friday.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping November 13th is the best. Although then we'll just blame the PS5 on people not going out to vote because they'll be inside playing their video games instead.
Register to vote on the PS5.
Yeah, that's a good day. The price, the price point is hopefully. I mean, like you said, these are all rumors. You seem to be fairly confident. I haven't, heard anything otherwise. That price point, we've already said numerous times. It seems like it's going to be on point. My biggest issue though right now, and I mean it's not an issue, is that what worries me is that with the pre-orders not up yet, and this coming in 2 months, how much of a supply they're going to have of this machine when it does come out. Already read somewhere that I think it's predicted the Switch is going to be the top selling console this Christmas. And a lot of that, and with 2 new systems coming out, I feel that the main reason for that might be the amount of quantity of these consoles that are going to be in the US. So who knows how difficult it's going to be to get one, even if you pre-order, are they all going to come in? So we'll see when it happens. I have my fingers crossed. I'm still planning to do it.
I think there's some truth in there. I think that's a good point, especially since I don't even know if Nintendo Switches have becoming a little bit more easier to come recently, but all through these last 4 months, people have been like, I mean, it's bare bones. If you go to Walmart, GameStop, Target, anywhere, they're all like, even most of the time they're out of controllers, so nobody can get their hands on.
Yeah.
So now that they finally can have a supply, it's like people are going to be like, I'm all in. I want to get the Switch. It's finally here. Even if I don't need it, I'm going to get it.
Yeah, you're talking to someone that attempted and was successful at getting a Switch in the middle of April. So I had to like put alerts on my phone when in stock was there. I literally had a window. I lost the window at least 5 times, and I would only get alert like maybe once or twice a week, and then those things would be gone within minutes. So luckily I got one from Amazon and it shipped within the week that I put it, so it came in. But yeah, those consoles were not in stores ever. And when they were, they'd only show up, 1 or 2 at a time. And you mentioned controllers; you would never see them ever.
Yeah.
So hopefully it goes better with the PS5, but probably not.
They're saying that it's not going to be a case of people are going to get a lot of advance time before, like, so let's say tomorrow they say pre-orders are going to happen September 20th or something like that. They're going to give us some time. It's not going to be, and pre-orders go. So, it's not going to be a panic. At least they're trying to set it up that way. And they're setting up limits like you would expect, anywhere 1 per household or anything like that. But in my mind, what stops somebody from going, all right, I'm going to get one at GameStop, and then I'm going to get one at Target, and then I'm going to get one at Walmart, and then go to Best Buy, and then just put the remaining ones that I don't intend to keep, which is obviously more than one. I'm going to just put those on eBay, and I'm going to, hike that price right up. I don't know. It's hard to predict. I mean, I'm going to get a PS5, one, because I have a Switch already. So that's all I'm concerned about. So we'll see. I just think that, November 13th, that's got to be the date. I'm like, why wouldn't it be? So.
Yeah. November 13th. You hear it here first, people. PS5. Technically. Sort of. All right. No more news? Anybody got any news? No? Sweet. Now we can get into the awesome movie that we reviewed this week. And Ryan is ready for this. This week we had reviewed Project Power, which stars Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And I'm still a little hazy on what the plot of this movie was. Basically what it was about is a drug has been introduced into New Orleans that will give you superpowers for 5 minutes, and it just kind of depends on like what your personality is. Apparently, you can be the Human Torch, or you can be the Ice Lady, or something. It just kind of depends on whatever your
Or
body
you could
reacts
just
to.
blow up.
Yeah, I know. You could just
Or you could, or you
explode.
can just blow up. Along with this police officer, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Jamie Foxx is a military guy that his daughter has been kidnapped by the people supplying and creating this super drug, and he wants his daughter back, so they team up to rescue his daughter.
This film
Yeah.
first got pitched as Taken 4.
Man, Liam, you got tan.
Taken 4.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna give this like a 5. There's good things here, and I know that you three are probably not going to agree with me on this, and this is going to be a very interesting review from all of us. I give it a 5 because I like Gordon-Levitt. Like, he's a good guy. He does a good part in this movie. I'm a little iffy on Jamie Foxx. Like, I'm not really sure like what was going on with him. Was it like PTSD? Like, he kept just zoning out randomly.
But he also made
asked-
faces at babies.
That's right. He was making faces at babies, and he was asking a lot of people if he was lying, which was kind of confusing. Am I lying? No. Okay, maybe not. There was just a lot of stuff in here that probably could have been fleshed out into a longer movie, and I know this is already 2 hours, but this was a very convoluted movie, and I got confused on like what was going on at very random points inside the movie. There is an African American girl that's in this. She's a drug dealer / narc / rapper somehow, whose cousin, which is kind of weird, and maybe this is just a new thing, and maybe it's just me. Her cousin is Machine Gun Kelly, who's white, but which is kind of confusing, but whatever. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of good things here, but I don't know. Like, the CGI was fine. It was okay, but I can see why this is on Netflix.
The good things you're talking about, Clint, is like maybe the broad idea of the story.
Yes.
Like, I feel like it's an interesting premise. It's not executed as far as plot very well. You're right about Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I mean, it gets points just for him in there. I feel like his character that he portrayed, he actually had motivation in there, and I think it was more so than, I don't know. I just feel like he portrayed his character better. His character was more motivated than, well, I don't know about losing your daughter. I guess that's motivation too. He did a good job. The CGI was fine. It just logically for that plot, like, are you trying to tell me that no one in the YouTube, social media, everything going on, that people aren't realizing there's a drug on the street that makes people superhuman, and like it's not a national phenomenon and people aren't freaking out about this? How is this so localized? And it just didn't make any sense to me.
Right.
I'm going to give it, I was talking a lot of trash about it before, but I'm definitely going to give it like a 4. I almost want to give it a 3, but no higher than that. I feel like the ideas behind, like, it's cool that they can take a pill and have superpowers for 5 minutes. That's an interesting idea. That's fine. Run with it. Do your thing. And with that and the CGI and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I think it was at least worth a 4 out of 10. It's just that plot, man. It just annoyed me so much.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that there was a time jump. Did any of you notice that there was like a time jump? Like they introduced these and they were like, okay, go forth, and like it's the very beginning of the movie, and they were like, okay, so here's the drugs, and they give like he gives them to all the distributors, and they're like, okay, go forth and like do your thing. And I'm gonna guess that there's like a couple month time jump because like I said, Machine Gun Kelly is like a drug dealer who can now like become the Human Torch, and he seems like he's scarred by whatever it is that like the fire that he creates or whatever. So there has to be some sort of like
it's like the old video with like the two guys that go to the person that can give them like mutant powers, and the guy's like,
I know
what mutant power do you want? And they're like, Wolverine. And they're like, actually, man, that's 2 powers, and that's going to cost this. And they're like, oh man, we only have enough money to get 1 power. And they're like, all right, well, what do you want, the claws or the healing? And they're like, the claws. And they get the claws, and then it shows them like all bloody and like screaming in pain because they didn't get the healing word. So that's what Machine Gun Kelly is. He just turns, he doesn't die from the fire, but he also gets scarred from it. Poor guy.
Yeah. Oh well. But yeah, it's just like he's obviously scarred from it. Now there's like a task force with Joseph Gordon-Levitt trying to like stop it, and like I didn't even understand. Like I didn't notice like the time jump until until his character comes on screen, and he's like, okay, well, like there's like we got to stop this because like all this is going on, and like I want my city back, whatever. So I was like, okay, I didn't even notice the time jump.
I think it took me a second to realize what was going on. I just kind of assumed once that that random girl was dealing drugs apparently, that it skipped. It wasn't too big of an issue for me. I just, like I said, my main concern with this film is that no one. You said there's a time jump. How is this not a national issue? Like, how is this? I feel like this is a very pressing thing. If like people are taking pills and either dying or becoming like superhuman, like this should be all over the place. It just didn't make any sense to me logically, and that's the only thing or the biggest thing that bothered me.
Yeah. Ryan or Alex?
Ryan, if you want to go ahead.
I thought it was terrible. I thought it was just terrible. I want to start by digging on the positives that you guys pointed out, and I don't think this is the fault of Joseph Gordon-Levitt or Jamie Foxx. I don't think it's their fault. I think a lot of films helmed by people who have less experience than the talent in them often doesn't know how to step in and say, hey, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, you kind of forgot to do an accent in that scene. Or, hey, Jamie Foxx, I don't know what your direction is. Or, hey, guy from Westworld, I have no idea what country you're from. Because they're all more famous than him. Than them, 2 directors. And I don't know how 2 directors didn't catch things throughout this entire movie that looks really bad.
That's just because it's set in New Orleans.
Well, no, it's because
beads.
No, it's a very, very poorly shot film. I think that was one thing that distracted me right away, was that every shot had to be cool or be a cut in of something small and consistently insignificant. So it's hard to focus on anything that's important when your camera swoops overhead for no reason, or you're breaking the 180 rule, which is a very basic principle not to break. And it struck me as something that where they were, I don't know where the focus went in this film. The idea is good. It reminded me a lot of the film Bright, where it's like, oh, this is a good idea. I hope Pixar can make this better later. Onward is a better version of Bright without a nonsense story. And I don't understand why I'll just skip to the biggest thing. The biggest thing I have a problem with this movie, and you guys touched on it, where it could be more in depth. I think if it's not going to be more in depth, because I don't want a 3-hour version of this movie, it could be less in depth and just be a small scale story. I don't know why we had to have this big conspiracy and the guys in suits are showing up and the people are going to try to overthrow governments. And I'm like, who cares? Not the protagonists. The Gordon-Levitt's goal is to get them out of New Orleans. The girl's goal is to get out of the problem entirely, and the guy's goal is to get his daughter back. Except we don't even learn that until halfway through. And then Joseph Gordon-Levitt's not a very positive character, so we don't connect with people. We don't connect with the story. There's nothing to do except watch events unfold, and they do a bad job explaining what's unfolding.
This is true.
Man, I feel like
agree.
I
Now
should
I wanna
have
go
gone first
back
and
and-
left Ryan as the most elegant.
I'm sad
review.
that I didn't catch the accent thing. Now I just want to go back
Oh, yeah.
and watch it.
I mean, I will give Joseph Gordon-Levitt this. I don't want to give it away because this scene is genuinely worth watching. The scene where he breaks into the mom's house. I got a good laugh out of that.
No,
scene.
that's
like,
probably the best scene in the movie. I think
yeah,
that doesn't.
it absolutely
like-
is.
Yeah.
I was like, this is
Mhm.
clever, and he's doing a really good job with a clever character that I suddenly like. But I'm liking this character halfway through the film. I don't know who the protagonist is because the only character arc that exists in the film is the girls, and it's the inciting incident for her character arc is getting kidnapped.
Yeah.
And then they break into a weird drug PSA where she's like, "This isn't how I thought it was," and he's like, "It never is." And I'm like, "Don't do drugs, kids."
Don't do power
really
drugs.
really bad.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. I think the worst scene for me was that fight scene in the club where
oh,
give
before
this-
he turns
this-
into this giant.
Yeah.
Leave extraordinary- oh,
like
yeah,
the whole
it's
thing, like the
shot-
whole thing was, yeah, it was shot like horribly because it's
Yeah.
like you're giving this presentation on this woman that like, okay, well now she can turn into ice. Okay, this is interesting, and then like the whole fight scene, like you turn off the heat so she doesn't overly freeze herself, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. So and then like pull into the tank where she's dying. And the most interesting thing that is happening is outside this tank. And you're watching it, trying to see what's going on. It's like you wanted to scream at the TV, "Move, lady!" Yes.
I think that's just one of those. I think that's what Ryan was saying about like how the people are trying to be too cool with their shots.
Right.
It's like one of those things. No pun intended. But they were just trying to be a little too clever. And I'm like, I get it. You're just trying to like be artsy with this and kind of fun, but at the same time, no one's paying attention to the front. They want to know what's going on outside that glass. Well, I get it, but there was no reason to do it that way.
Right.
And the continuity. You just reminded me of this. The scene where I didn't even know it was Machine Gun Kelly. I don't know people, but
Right.
the scene where he goes after the Human Torch and he's got like a shotgun to him, and then something happens. And then suddenly he's like 2 doors down the hallway, and he ducks out from a doorway to run down the hall so he can take a pill. And I'm like, how did he get like 2 yards away from a guy with a shotgun? Because the continuity is, and
Didn't he shoot him with that shotgun?
I had thought so. Well, I don't know if things like this matter when they were going over. It feels like one of those things where somebody brought it up on set and they were like, "Don't worry, it's fine," because they were worried that the answer would be judged by Jamie Foxx, who's much more famous than they are. So they just kind of said, "Don't worry, you'll look cool."
Don't make Jamie
Look,
mad.
this-
He's the only reason we're getting this film made.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh, and then I was impressed with the effects until they did a throwback to Leave Extraordinary Gentleman when he turns into a big, ugly mutant giant thing and starts chasing him through the building. And I was like, when did this movie become this? And when can it stop? And then it stops immediately.
When can it stop?
It's worse.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So,
Small,
so you loved it, Alex, right?
I know. I was gonna say. So Ryan's short story, or long story short, Ryan loved it.
oh yeah, 10 out of 10.
That Oscar nominee for 2020.
Invisible Man Project Power.
And I'm gonna go in.
Doolittle.
I'm gonna go ahead and put Project Power 2 this
Oh, yeah.
far up here too.
I mean, yeah, when you're according to Ryan, at rock bottom, there's only nowhere to go but up.
I mean, it wasn't. I didn't hate it as much as Artemis Fowl. So
I know that's what we can say about just any
Wow.
movie that we dislike but don't hate. It's like, well, at least it
On the
wasn't
Artemis
Fowl.
Fowl scale, how bad did you hate it?
I don't even know what to say to that. Artemis Fowl side quest? I don't know. So I mean, I think I'm like more like Clinton Matt, where I didn't think it was great by any means. I didn't necessarily hate it. I thought this movie would have been better served as like a short video game kind of deal. It felt that kind of vibe to me. I was like, it's not as interesting as what it is like on Netflix. But I remember thinking, if I was seeing this in a big screen or on a big screen, I would have been like, all right, how much longer of this crap do I have?
Right.
You said you liked the CGI. I thought that was one of the problems of the movie. Two instances I really was like, not disturbed, but for lack of a better word, disturbed. Remember at some point where Joseph Gordon-Levitt is chasing after some type of translucent man as, just kind of a break from the rest of the plot? Well, he jumps out of the translucent guy. He jumps out of the building or something. He makes his way out into the street, and he's running, and you can clearly see him because he has the kind of outline to him. It made me think, when in a video game, I'm mentioning video games a lot, you're like in a corner, but your character is still kind of doing the full run, like they're got full extension of their legs and stuff. It looked like he was floating, like he was. And it would bug me a lot. I was like, this doesn't look, I know it's obviously not real, but it doesn't even try to be real. Honestly, it doesn't mimic real running animation. So I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Right.
So
Alex, I'll bet you're right. I bet that's not motion capture. I bet they just threw that in there.
Oh, I'd bet money that that's not motion capture easily. No. The other instance was, you guys already mentioned it, was in the club scene where that guy takes a pill and he turns like half into a monster stuff. He looked, I forget what movie this made me think of, but the CGI motion just looked so bad in that instance. And I was like, I'm so glad this scene was actually shorter than I had expected. I was like, thank God. I'll probably think of the movie, later on tonight after we finish this video. But there were those instances. The one thing that I thought was the worst, but before I even get to my worst part, is I always quote Ryan, and that a movie is only as good as its main villain. And really, there is no main villain in this movie. I mean, maybe is it the American government for making this stuff, or testing on Jamie Foxx and people like him? I mean, technically, sort of. Yeah, I know. I'm with Ryan. And then that guy who turned into that monster? I don't know what his name was. Was it then this other lady who at the end was threatening to kill his daughter? I don't know. It's like there's no clear like person to be mad at. Technically, it's just kind of a general hate or anger and frustration to have. And I'm like, okay,
right.
Whatever. So, the funkiest part of this movie was, and it actually didn't start off. Funky. It started off like, okay, so Jamie Foxx kidnaps, I believe her name is Robin.
Yeah.
Because he basically knows that she can lead him to the next step, and so on and so on. So he is a bad man. He's like, he's taking this girl, and he's like, in his dialogue after he had like put her in the trunk, like his dialogue is matching what I think he would say. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of what I would realistically expect. And then it's like two maybe 5 minutes later into the movie, you know, they have had this relationship, if you can call it that, where basically he was about to kill her. And then 5 minutes later, they've got this almost kind of like father-daughter kind of sort of thing. And they're like, she's like, I can help you, you know, just pay me $5,000 or $10,000 and I can navigate, blah, blah, blah. I want to help you. I'm like, this man was about to kill you in his trunk. Like 5 minutes ago. That was way too fast of a switch in personality or caring for this person. That I was just like, okay, I guess. I mean, this movie's already long enough, so I guess we don't need a whole segue into, you know, how they can become friends. So, I mean, those were my biggest funky parts of the movie. Overall,
Right.
I didn't hate it. And then I as what most of our stuff that we do, I was like, is this better served as a series? No, absolutely not. This would have been even worse as a series. I would have probably stopped watching after episode 2. I'd have been
This would have been more fun as a game show. They just line people up and give them pills. And we figure
Yeah.
out what everyone's super ability is and if they blow up.
That is literally what I was just thinking. Like, Alex, you were like, this is the worst part of this movie. The worst part of this movie for me was basically like that lottery of like, what superpower if I can blow up? Who's taking this chance? Like, if somebody hands me a pill and is like, this could blow you up, or this could give you like superpowers, or if you even vice versa that whole language, I'd be like, no, I'm good, thanks.
and I don't think not one of us has even mentioned that Joseph Gordon-Levitt himself would purposely take these in order to help with, like, because he would become like invincible for like what was it, 5 minutes? Yeah, bulletproof. And you know, and it helped save his life when he was fighting that translucent guy before, because he tries to shoot him in the head. And yeah, but I'm like, so for a while I was like, okay, is he kind of crooked because he's technically buying this stuff off of her?
Well, I thought his logic was pretty like straightforward and pretty spot on when he talked to his chief. He was like, hey man, this stuff's not illegal, so it's fine. I'm taking it. I'm like, well, he's got a point. I mean, he's actually helping you do your job.
That was a good little back and forth dialogue. I agree with that.
I'm like, why are you punishing this man for like becoming superhuman and stopping this guy? You just got shot in the head and you survived.
Well, it's because of the men in suits were telling him what to do. So yeah, I agree with that. That and what was the other scene? Oh yeah, him in the bathrobe at the mom's house. Yeah, that was I would agree, that was probably the best scene of the all. And then one more thing. Remember when I mean, we've pretty much spoiled the whole movie at this point, so
there's nothing to spoil. There's nothing to spoil.
Yeah, I know. It's like there's a part where Jamie Foxx, he's being held on that like aircraft airship, I don't know, boat, yeah, basically. And you know, he's talking about an analogy of, or not an analogy, but like he's like, you know what the worst or, you know, strongest animal is? And he's like, yeah, most people would say the lion, but it's actually this shrimp, because it can create 8,000 degrees hotter water around itself than the sun. And then I was like, okay, that's got to play into this. You know, I guessed immediately, okay, that's his power. As soon as he takes it, that's what he's going to do. And it took the punch out of the end scene of him saving his daughter, and, you know, by taking the pill and then, you know, manipulating water, making it super hot around him and all that stuff. So I was like, this is very anticlimactic.
I couldn't figure out what his power was. I just know that he like freaked out and everyone just kind of like vaporized.
Yeah, basically he could imitate the power or ability of that shrimp that he had talked to that guard about. So it's meh.
And then I guess his daughter has the inexplicable power, which she doesn't have to take anything for, that can just heal, because just brings dead.
Okay,
that's very convenient.
Which brings me to my next point of this movie. Okay, so he has this power for 5 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's some sort of dialogue that says that she was born with these powers. So
Yeah,
does that mean that she?
Yeah, they extracted it from her technically in order
yeah,
to.
because they had
Mhm.
tested Jamie Foxx or whatever with all that radiation, and then she was born with superpowers.
But
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so does that mean that she was conceived within these 5 minutes? Or was it like an STD type thing? Like how
Lord.
does the mechanics of this work?
Clint over here asking the great questions.
I was just a little confused. I'm like, how was she born with this? Like, if this pill can only do it for 5 minutes.
I don't think they had the
Like-
pill yet. They had like they from what I understand, like he said that they just blasted them, I think, with radiation, like just to try to get them to mutate or whatever. And then when he came back, he had his kid, and then for some reason, I guess his genes were messed up or affected his little swimmers, and then made a super person.
Made a super baby.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how
Isn't that the plot of the Fantastic Four, though?
I don't think anybody cares after so many bad, versions of the Fantastic Four that have been made. Teardrop. What crap? What was there? Oh, I don't know if anybody else thought that this is kind of just a ripoff of The Boys, sort of, because that's how they have their superpowers technically by, what was it? Compound V.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is just kind of the poor man's version of that, if you can say that. My rating for it, I think I texted you guys that I said 6 out of 10. No, I think I'm going to move back down to like a 5 as well. It's still like, I would still go ahead and say, watch it once in your life. Maybe you'll like it, but it's not it's not something. It's one of those, if you miss it, it's not the worst. It's definitely not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. Don't watch this.
Matt,
Yo,
I just remembered something else that you're talking about, how this isn't everywhere. How are these people that are buying this drug to use against governments, do they not have like the news? They're like, we need a demonstration of how this works. And I'm like, does no one have like the internet? Like, if something happens that's big in a major city that's going to be controversial, we're all going to know about it in Facebook in 5 minutes.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So why do we have to like make an ice girl kill herself so that these people will all buy this drug to use it to make super people out of, which happens to be the only one of the rare examples of a bad.
Don't forget, they're also collecting data on all these people and microchipping them and keeping track of all of them.
Is that a thing they say in the movie?
Pretty sure they're like keeping track. They're like researching. That's why they're giving the pills out to everybody, so they can like figure out how it works and why it works the way it does.
Ugh.
I just thought of something else. You know how when everybody takes one, it makes that like high frequency, and I was like, could they have done something else? It happens like 10 times at least in the movie, and I'm just like, I mean, do it like, I don't know, maybe a sound of like gears unlocking or something. I don't know.
Or maybe at least if you're gonna do that, have at one point one of the pills be defective. Then you just turn it and it's like,
Oh man, I got an expired one.
We have to talk about whether or not these pills are digestible. Like, are they getting digested in your stomach, or are they just gonna come right out pill shape?
Oh yeah. And how does this like take effect like immediately too? Like this.
It's like gum. It just sticks in your system.
I'm
for
pretty
7
sure all
years.
these people are gonna have cancer. Like it's definitely
sure.
like a radio.
But they're all gonna have super children. If they,
Yeah.
If they're conceived in that 5 minutes,
Oh, yeah.
they're all gonna be having super children.
And pop, come here. Gross.
Just no good.
Look, I'm still stuck on this. Like, how do you know like what the? So you're not gonna know what this power is until you take the pill, right? That's the whole concept of this.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you trying to like? This just blows my mind. And like, why you would even attempt to like take this pill?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, A, there's a chance you're going to blow up. B, there's a chance your power is going to suck. And C, I mean, maybe your power is just going to be destructive, like that one guy caught on fire. Like, just burn your house down if you just take your pill.
Right?
Yeah, and even if it's good, it's only for a few minutes.
Yeah.
It's like pills made for criminals who are like ready to rob a bank in 5 minutes, and only that.
Yeah, and I think if you take one once, and nothing, you don't explode, nothing like that happens. I think once you take it once, it's like every time you take it, that's what it's going to be, via the fire guy. Newt, I believe, was his name.
Yeah, Machine Gun Kelly.
Machine Gun Kelly.
Was this film made? It wasn't made by Netflix, I don't think. Was it?
I don't know if any of them are made by Netflix. I feel like most of these films Netflix just buys them.
Well, they made like
I
made
guess.
Bright, didn't they? And,
Yeah, they did.
And,
You know what?
and
You're
Bird
right.
Box.
Right. I'll bet this was made by Netflix.
Also starring
it's
Machine Gun
distributed.
Kelly. Bird Box.
Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah. I guess this definitely has that feel that somebody pitched it and some producer said no, and then they went and pitched it to Netflix. Like, all right, here's money.
Oh my gosh.
They're like, wait, it's gonna have super powery things in the real world. Oh yeah, we'll do this again.
But they won't give any money to the people making Avatar.
We don't want to put goblins in this one though, and no magic wands.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Oh, good.
sorry, I gotta interrupt this because I just read this. It was bought by Netflix. It was acquired by Madsen Tomlin's spec script, and it was in a bidding war with several other studios
And they lost.
to Netflix.
And Netflix was like, we've got drones and we're gonna fly them all over our movie.
I hate hearing that was in a bidding war.
Yeah, I had to say that. It was just like, who's bidding for this?
As if Ryan weren't mad enough.
Goodness. There's even a scene where the two of them are in the car. It's just such a rookie thing to get wrong. And it cuts to the girl and she says something, and then it cuts to Jamie Foxx, and then he starts saying something, and it cuts to the girl, and he continues to speak, and his mouth doesn't line up with the dialogue. And I'm like, this is just such an easy thing to fix.
And Ryan's done.
I can't finish my thoughts about these, apparently. But I guess I'll just leave all my thoughts as incomplete as all the thoughts in the movie.
I remember there was something I watched that was similar to that, where the audio and the lip movement wasn't synchronizing, and it bugged the crap out of me. And I don't know, and that I always get irritated with that, especially when certain games, when they port from Japanese to English, they do that, and it's cheap. I don't know how I missed that, because that would bug the crap out of me. Now I'm definitely never watching this movie again.
Just don't do your shot like this. Do your shot like this. If you do your shot like this, you're gonna see that they're not talking. And you're in a car, yeah, but your camera's outside the car. Just move it this way.
They had to knock it out, man. They didn't have time. They were behind schedule.
Goodness. Yeah, I mean, it definitely felt like one of those things where they finished the day. They were like, Jamie, can we do another take? And he was like, no, that was good. And they were like, okay, that was good. And they got to the end of the day, and they were like, do we have coverage? And they were like, no. And they were like, it's fine. We'll just cut together what we have.
Okay, we'll just dress up somebody to look like Jamie Foxx and shoot over his shoulder.
I mean, it's a good way to keep your A-listers down on time.
Yeah.
You shoot somebody from behind the head. It's easier if they're wearing anything to disguise the fact that it's not them. Anytime it's somebody's hand, there's easy ways to fake it. but instead they just shot right beside his face, so you could clearly see he didn't line up. So they obviously don't. They either don't have coverage for his line. His line was changed in post, or the shot's bad, and I would believe any of those.
Or this could be like a Bruce Willis Die Hard 4 situation where like 20th Century Fox is like, nope, we want it to be PG-13, so we can't blow our one F word on.
That was another weird thing. There's like 2 lines where they start to swear and cut off themselves, and I was like,
Yeah, I remember that.
you can swear. Like we've watched people like incinerate themselves. You can say whatever you want.
It's not.
well.
Yeah, it's not even 20th Century Fox anymore. It's what is it? 20th Century or 20?
20th century.
Yeah.
Or
20th Century Studios.
Rip Foxes.
Yeah. Even their
Fox.
logo is weird.
you'll get used to it. It'll be fine.
Yep. Oh, well. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else to say about this wonderful Oscar-winning movie?
2 thumbs up, A+. Go check it out right now. American Pickle, streaming on HBO Max.
I know that's what we can say about this movie. Well, I mean, it was no American Pickle. At least the pickles don't blow up.
But they're made from rainwater. It seems to rain a lot in Brooklyn.
Mhm.
Okay, so next week I had noticed that there's a horror movie coming out. Sorry, Alex. I think it's time for a horror movie. Woo woo. Yep, whoop,
I
whoop.
mean, we didn't just watch that.
No, unfortunately. There's a movie coming out to Netflix called One Bedroom. I've seen this kind of like advertised throughout the summer, but it's coming to Netflix.
Clint, are you sure you just weren't looking at an apartment listing? I'm sorry.
Here we go. Here we go with the screen sharing yet again. Are you ready? Ready for the screen share?
I'm
Here we go.
ready.
We're ready. Sharing is caring. One bedroom. Whoops.
Is it 1BR?
I know.
Is that
What
the
is this?
title of the movie?
What is this, a text?
Yes.
Are you sure it's
One
is it
BR.
called-
It's one
so-
bedroom.
No, dude, I think it's 1BR. You keep
You guys are
adding
horrible.
things.
Horror movie.
That's all I'm going to say.
For a horror movie.
That can't be
What's that?
right.
It's a horror
One,
movie.
one bearded rectangle.
One bird.
I don't have the copyright rights to play the trailer because I would play the trailer for this, but it's a horror movie. And it's coming to Netflix.
Is that
So-
because-
Sky Films.
Is that because it's scary or because it's terrible?
5.8.
It's got an 87%. 87% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
I don't.
Wasn't
Right.
maybe it's next month that I'm thinking. I kept seeing the commercial for what's that Disney Plus film? Not Mulan, but
Artemis Fowl?
No, yeah, we'll watch Artemis Fowl again. No, Ivan the Greater, Ivan the Fantastic or something with what's his name, Bryan Cranston. When is that? I
Yeah.
thought that was supposed to be the 14th or 21st.
I think it's this Friday. It's this
I
Friday.
don't know. So I'm just throwing that out there. Not that I'm like dying to see it.
Well, I do have my tickets for Unhinged this Saturday as well.
Wait a second. Where are you seeing it?
AMC?
Oh, the one and only.
Oh, man, I might have to go to AMC.
Yeah. Yours is 40 minutes away?
More like 25.
25? Okay. I've not been at AMC in a while. Mine's 5 minutes away. But I miss Movie Tavern quite a lot.
I know. I just found a crap ton of my $1 voucher things. I have like at least 50 of them,
Yeah, I've got like a whole stack.
and he's not going to use them ever.
No.
He's not even going to give them away.
He's
They're
gonna
like
hoard them
trophies.
till they appreciate in value.
Okay. So
I will pay you $2
Ivan,
for your
Ivan
$1
comes out on the
voucher.
21st. Sorry.
What, Ivan?
What? Ivan comes out on the 21st.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna be watching this horror drama One Burr anyway. I will also watch
One
One
Burr.
Burr.
One
It's a
Burr.
prequel to Battle Royale.
All right, sir. What can I get you this evening? Yeah, can I get one burr?
One Burr, please.
I'm down. You guys think I'm opposed to horror movies? I think it's just because a lot of them these days, the setup is fine.
Dumb.
It's just that the ending of them sucks. They all
That's
suck.
because you
Like,
watch all the mainstream horrible ones.
okay,
Yeah, bro.
what's a good recent one?
I don't know.
Need to.
You can watch The Wailing.
There you go.
I don't know if that's new.
No,
Maybe
I mean,
Alex hasn't seen it.
Alex,
I mean-
did you watch The Lodge from this January?
no.
That was a pretty unique premise.
Is that the? Oh no, I'm thinking Cabin in the Woods.
That's on
Never mind.
Hulu.
Wait,
the
you didn't like Cabin in the Woods?
No, what I was gonna say is I keep seeing that on those, like Marcus keeps sending emails like, "Hey, get 5 of these movies or 3 of these movies for $3,"
Yeah.
and that's always included. Cabin in the Woods, and I'm like, I thought that was the movie he was talking about, but no, it's The Lodge apparently. So I'll have to check that one
It's
out. Is
coming
that
out
on
the
Net?
23rd. When's the
What is?
23rd?
I think the Lodge might be on Hulu. Maybe.
Yes, the Lodge is on Hulu.
I would look, but I do these on my phone.
It's on Hulu.
So I mean, I'm down for one beer, one burr,
One
One
beer.
Burr.
one burr.
And also,
I
One
didn't-
Burr.
Here's a
Yeah,
Here's
can I
a
have
horror.
one beer with one burr, please?
Okay.
What service is that on?
Netflix.
Okay.
It comes out on Sunday.
We're also gonna have to figure out when we're gonna do this talk too, because
Oh, yeah.
Alex and
Yeah.
I's schedule are gonna change a little bit.
Yeah. Are you guys cool with midnight videos?
We're gonna be doing this at 2 a.m. now. Sorry, guys.
Holy oh, we just lost Ryan.
He disagreed with that so
I
much.
guess he wasn't cool with it.
He's like 2 a.m. out.
All right. Well, bye, Ryan.
Hopefully you'll come back soon.
So One Burr and Ivan, got it.
Are we doing both of them?
I mean, speaking of, I will go ahead and watch them. We'll set a primary for One Burr.
Yep.
Speaking of doing 2 films, somebody here also watched Capone this week.
Yeah.
Ew.
How'd you like
I'm
that?
just kidding.
I mean, Tom Hardy does a good job. He's a good actor. You know, he's like a modern day Gary Oldman. That said, the movie kind of sucked. Like all of it is basically fictitious. Like for a movie that's supposed to be like the last year of Capone's life, literally all of it is made up. So that's a little infuriating or annoying. He does a good job though. I definitely probably another 4 out of 10 for me, just for his performance.
Is that bad?
I was not a fan. Like I said, sometimes I just ask myself why. It was also written and directed by the same guy who did Chronicle in the Fantastic Four movie. So
Mr. Trank himself.
yeah. So starting to think this gentleman may be a hack. I enjoy the idea of Chronicle. I haven't really made it all the way through again watching it, but I enjoy the idea, and it was nice. Fantastic Four, not so much ever any of it. And this movie,
Even worse.
yeah. I don't know. It wasn't worse than Fantastic Four, but
Ugh.
it wasn't great. So go out and
So-
watch it.
No.
So Matt's like, I'm only gonna watch 3 more of this guy's film.
But you don't have to take my word for it.
go
I'm
and watch.
sure
How
not.
long is it?
It's like an hour and 45. No, maybe an hour and 50 minutes. Actually.
Oh, wait. It's someone coming.
By the way, everybody, Ryan.
There.
Maybe back. I was about to say he disappeared. There he is again.
There he is.
We were joking because we were proposing the 2 a.m. videos, and then you cut out, and we were like, man, he must have hated that a lot.
Okay.
Well,
So we're gonna do Ivan, the one and only Ivan. Is that what the name of the movie is?
I think
The
so.
gorilla
Yeah.
movie. Primary is gonna be 1 bedroom. To all you people, the burrs. That's the primary. If we watch the one and only Ivan, that's cool. But when do you guys want to do this? Like, we usually do this Tuesdays.
Well, we have to see. We should be good Wednesday. Actually, we might be good Tuesday. Because I think we're going to be getting out of there at latest 8 o'clock. So,
Yeah.
or at least I'll be good. So, who knows? It's just
Okay.
when we actually open that things could start to get tricky. So,
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
And with
especially
two-
on Tuesdays.
especially on Tuesdays.
Oh, $5 movies or something.
Yeah.
$5
Yeah.
Tuesday.
All right, guys.
Cool.
I'm going to be at the bar. I got to take this conference call right quick.
Matt, you've been over there for an hour and a half.
It's all good. Okay. Ryan, you think of any can you be here next week, you think?
Find
That's a
out
shrug.
next week on the next episode of Production Meetings when Ryan may be here.
I got this. Yeah, I'll flip a coin and no, not a coin.
Yeah, I know. It comes up heads, and he's going to be like,
Maybe.
sorry, BJs, I can't come in. I'm doing a production meeting.
That is. I did lead a phone call today with the first phrase of that. Well, I had fairly good reason today, so.
Sweet.
Sorry, BJs, I just don't want to work. Forget you.
All right. You guys checking anything else out this week? I'll be watching some more Korra.
I love Korra. That's all I had.
Well,
Ryan likes the Korra.
Oh, yeah.
And also, the show is good.
I mean,
I'm sorry, did you say coral?
It's my favorite color.
I will be watching Act 3 of Ghost of Tsushima this week. If I
Nice.
can ever finish Act 2. So,
I told these guys
Nice.
last week that I had started that myself. I'm only in like a half hour in, and so far it's okay. I got to get a little bit more into it. I think I'm finally just gonna suck it up and do the platinum run for Last of Us, and just I'm gonna be watching the collectibles guide anyway. So I'm just like, I'm not even really paying attention to the story. So I'm just kind of like, okay, hey, there's that coin. Hey, there's that artifact, which apparently flyers can count as artifacts. Who knew?
Yeah,
I
the only
did.
game I've been playing was the Fall Guys. I didn't pick up Horizon at all this week, really.
I heard about that one.
So
We should do one of those gameplay videos where we all play, because that's free. All of us can get that. But you do have to have PS Plus, I think, to play online. So that might be a snag.
Nag.
A little snag.
All right.
So I don't think, and I told you guys, I don't think I'm going to continue watching the morning show, because I was just like, I went into it blindly, not really thinking whatever it was. I was just like, no, I'm good.
Oh my gosh.
I
Okay,
just-
wait. Before we get into this, I just want to share with our viewers what this was meant. Okay, so Alex started the Apple Plus show called The Morning Show, and he thought that this was going to be Anchorman, and the
Well, sort of.
conversation that inspired is awesome.
Well, I mean, yeah, I didn't know what I was expecting. I was just like, hey, let's give this a shot. I don't know. And I was just like, yeah, because I had no idea that it was actually based on any real life events that took place,
I want to
years
know
ago.
how long you went from like you were like started watching, and then you were like, wow, this is some really dark humor. This is dark.
Is there even
Wait.
any humor in it?
Like,
It's just
wait a
mean.
minute.
Everybody's just saying the F word every 3 seconds. I didn't have any expectations, and now I know what I stepped into, and I quickly found the exit.
Well, I just saw that there was a new, don't remember the name, but there's a new Sofia Coppola movie that's coming to Apple Plus. So I might actually have to pick it up. So maybe I can watch The Morning Show and tell you what happens.
I'm with Alex. Like I watched one episode of this and I felt like I was being punished for it. Like it is not a happy show. And you would expect with Steve Carell and Jennifer Aniston.
So what you're telling me is it's like Space Force.
God, I wish.
King Kelly is going to be the new Lisa Kudrow, by the way.
Yeah, at least Space Force was just dull and not like absolutely like mean just for the sake of being mean. Like Steve Carell, yeah, I mean he was kind of the biggest name that got me sucked in. I mean, because who doesn't like him? Who doesn't like his comedy? And then I'm just like, man, he's like F this and F that and GD and punching TVs and threatening to do something. And I'm like, man, I'm only a half hour into this first episode. I can't make it any longer than this. I'm good. I'm out.
Wow.
So.
Oh well.
It's whatever. So I'm not necessarily saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not for me. I'm just you can have it, whoever you are.
And then you turned on Evan Almighty and just let it all wash away.
Man, look, he's building a boat.
I think we should all take a vote and see if Alex is going to be our guinea pig for Apple Plus and just have him start watching stuff on Apple Plus. And be like, is this any good, Alex? No. All right, well, next one.
Then I'm like, okay, you each pay me $1 every time I don't like it. I'm going to be like, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Well, there was this one part, but I hated it. Give me $1. Pay for my subscription. Well. I don't know. I was floating through some stuff on there, and I'm like, okay, maybe there's even what was the thing I watched a few weeks ago that was on Apple
Finding
TV?
Jacob?
Yeah, that was it. Even that was all right. I would recommend it, not to anybody who doesn't have a great attention span or anything, but that show I remember saying could have been done in like 3 or 4 episodes. So. So yeah, I'm gonna find something on there to do, but I don't know what. I'm like, I need to find a series to watch.
I'm telling you, man, watch some Schitt's Creek, man. The jam.
What is that on? I've heard mixed because you said you found that hilarious.
Yeah.
And who's the main director for that? Because I remember something about like, or whoever.
It's Eugene Levy and his son.
Okay.
And his sister, technically, too.
Okay. Huh.
It's you'll know whether or not you will like the show in like the first episode.
Is it on Hulu? You said?
It's on Netflix.
Netflix.
Actually, it might be on both, but it's definitely on Netflix.
Yeah, because it's like a Canadian show, isn't it?
Yeah, it's CBC.
Yeah.
Alex, you got season 4 of Fargo coming out soon, so you could catch up if you haven't seen any of that.
That's a
No,
good show.
I'm good. If the show is anything like the movie, I'm gonna think it's dumb, and I'm gonna be like, I'm good. I'm gonna go find something else on TV.
That hurts me inside that you thought Fargo the movie was dumb.
Yeah. Best Picture nominee Fargo.
Maybe I'm revealing that I'm somewhat of a movie snob.
Oh, we all are. That's why we're here.
We're all divas in some way or another.
That's why we're here. But I like
man.
the show.
I don't watch movies. I critique them.
I know calling them movies is too generous.
Films.
Films.
They're
Films.
films
Now
are
that's just being fancy when you don't need to. With some of them.
Unless we're talking about movies like Project Power, and then we just call them crap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
see,
got cinema in theme parks or in amusement parks.
we call the Christopher Nolan movie Batman's films. We call Project Power crap. We call Fargo a movie. Fargo is not a film; it's a movie.
You just put Fargo below everything Christopher Nolan's done.
Easily.
I'm with Alex. I'm with you, Alex.
I mean, I love all three. First, Batman Begins is probably my least favorite, but it's still good. And then I cannot say how much I love Interstellar. That's like one of my favorite films of all time. And I remember going into it. It was on Matt and Clint's recommendation. I was like, all right, I found it on not Netflix, FX, and I was like, okay, let's just give it. It's a little slow to start out, and then I was just like, this movie's amazing. So yeah, easily. Fargo is dumb.
I feel like with Fargo, you probably just did not like their accents and the way they talk the whole time, and that just turned you off. And you're
Yeah.
like, I can't stand this.
Yeah,
And that's literally the only reason you did not like the movie.
South Dakota.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, give me a Diet Coke. I'm like, okay, what else is on? I don't know.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
Man, Fargo could only be worse if it were the Goonies.
Whoa! Shots fired.
Goonies?
He hates the Goonies. I'm not calling you out on that. You just called yourself out on that.
You know, fun fact. I still have Matt's. And you know how many times I've watched it, Matt? I'll be honest. Not once. And I've had it for, what would you say, about a year now?
Yeah.
Hold the phone. Have you ever seen this movie?
I have seen this movie. I'm not going to be like, I hate it because I've
told him
never
to
watched
rewatch it.
No, I watched it back when I was in like 10th or 11th grade. My teacher let me borrow it because he, like you guys, were like, "Oh man, it's awesome! It's awesome." Well, I'll admit that I'm in the minority when it comes to this movie, but I'm just like, I'm good.
That's when I'm just like, Alex, did you not have any friends as a child? Do you not relate to this movie at all?
No, I had no friends, and I wasn't looking for any treasure, so it didn't resonate with me.
Alex, there's two ways to watch movies that people grew up on. Because I wasn't alive when Goonies came out. You can watch them when you're young and you can grow up on it, or you can watch them after you graduate high school. Which is why you have to rewatch it, because there's that cynical period where you can't watch anything that other people love. When they
So that's
grew
my
up on it,
project
you
for this
get
week.
to.
Am I out of that period yet?
I don't know. I'm with you, Matt.
But that is very true. There is like a time, I think it was like mainly when I was in college, that was just like some movies I was just like, no, that's dumb.
Yeah.
I have like a deep-seated, like, still do hate or loathing for the Boondock Saints for this reason. So
Really?
yeah.
Oh man.
Overrated film. People are like, it's underrated. I'm like, no, it's overrated now.
It is
Super
overrated. Just a little bit.
Is this like my passion for City of Angels?
Yeah, maybe. But I don't think
best
anyone
movie
likes
ever.
City of Angels though.
I hated that movie. That movie was retarded.
I think the only person that likes it is who's in that? Nick Cage?
Nicolas Cage, yeah.
Not
Yeah,
the bees.
I
hated
Join us
that
next
movie.
week as we review City of Angels.
It's dumb.
I remember him just going on and on about how Meg Ryan just kind of, on the bike at the end.
What is she doing? Really? Like, you're asking to be hit by a car. Like, seriously. Seriously. And he gives up his angel life. I'm going to spoil this movie for everyone. He gives up his angel life to be with his lady, and then she dies in a car accident. Or she gets hit by a car because she's riding her stupid bike down that stupid hill. And she gets ran over.
By a stupid car.
Wait, shouldn't he have just stayed? Like, literally, instead of him giving up his angelness, shouldn't she have just died? That way they could have just been together forever anyway.
You would think.
That would save everybody about what, an hour and a half, 2 hours?
I'm in love with you. I want to be with you forever. Let me murder you right quick. Done. Okay.
I'm gonna push you off
Love
this
you too,
balcony.
Stab.
It's cool. I'm an angel. We'll hang out all the time now.
We can sit on the beach.
That's silly.
I'm gonna watch this movie.
All right.
Oh man, it's on HBO Max.
Yeah, maybe that's a thing we should do at some point for this is like, all right, everybody pick that one movie that they absolutely hate and watch it and just give their raw just give their most recent raw
Watch it,
expressions
and
of
then
it.
we'll never talk about it again. We'll only let it fester inside of us that we had to force ourselves to watch that movie.
Until it becomes a hemorrhoid.
Pretty fun.
All right, so hold on. What is that film for everybody here? Most hated film. It's not Goonies for me. I'm not gonna say it's that bad. But like I know Matt's. Matt's is Batman and Robin. Clint's, I think, is City of Angels.
It's a tie between City of Angels and Dirty Dancing.
Oh yeah, stupid pedophile movie. No one puts baby in a corner.
I would definitely put Baby in a corner. Like, she needs to be away from that 30-year-old for some reason.
You can't speak ill of the dead, Clint. Patrick Swayze is a gem.
He's an American treasure.
And then Ryan, I'm sure you've told me at some point what yours is, but I have no clue.
It's gotta be the second Transformers.
Wow. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. I cannot think of a worse time. Rampage with Dwayne Johnson might have been a worse time I had.
Have you not watched any of the other Transformer movies?
No, I mean I like all the others much more than the second one.
Ugh.
Wow.
I think they progressively get worse.
I mean,
I'm not counting Bumblebee,
I think
obviously.
there's a point though. I think there's a point when you look back on them and you're looking at what went wrong and exactly where it went wrong, and that's that entire second movie is everything that followed because of how bad it got. Like the first one's dumb, but it's not the worst. It's not unwatchable. And the second one's like, what if we did that, but half an hour longer, with less story, just have juvenile humor. Let's just have the parents are high or something, and then
Oh yeah, I remember that.
everything's in slow motion. Everything's in slow motion. That's
Because they're high.
The movie were at normal speed would be like 80 minutes long, and I could get it over with faster. But
Just watch it at like 1.5.
I don't watch it at all.
Just watched it at 1.5.
Oh,
That's
but no,
funny.
the movie Rampage with Dwayne Johnson, for very specific reasons, made me cry in theaters. But it was for reasons that were other things going on. And I just remember watching this movie, and I was like, "That's sad." And then I started crying, and I was like, "This is the worst movie I've ever seen."
And then you started crying more.
That might be what takes the cake.
I don't know. I think what I've mentioned a few times that one of the worst movies I ever saw was back. I think I was in high school, and it was Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. Stupid movie. absolutely like there's no point to this movie. It's just to be a teen, almost like stoner film that's dumb, and I hate every minute of it. And I only stayed because my friend was my ride.
You're like, I'm gonna go wait in the lobby. I'm just gonna go.
I would rather watch the popcorn sit in the machine than watch this movie. So stupid. Ugh.
I don't remember hating Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. I'm not a huge fan of what's a girl's name?
Dennings?
Yeah,
Yes.
Miss Dennings.
But you all know that my, not
Your-
hatred, I think my,
No, it's like
my
your
ne-
nemesis.
yeah, my nemesis, Michael Cera. Oh, and I think I've admitted already that like I hadn't actually watched Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I did for the first time. I know everybody's like, brace yourself. I would not ever watch that movie again. That sucked.
Hold on. Somebody's writing that down because that's never been like said in recorded history.
He's done, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't
That movie sucked.
check that mute button real quick.
But on the flip side, I hadn't seen Inception in a long time. And I was like,
And that
All right.
movie sucked?
no, that movie was
Whoa.
great.
Good.
That
Whoa.
movie was that. I mean, I've said how much I like Christopher Nolan's stuff,
That's
And-
probably my favorite Nolan jam.
and
Yeah.
that I'd say that's solid.
I guess I probably shouldn't complain about Christopher Nolan. He has 2 of my top 5 favorite films of all time. So Margot not one of them.
What are they?
Yeah.
Which one?
Dark Knight and Inception.
Okay.
In that order. So it's Spacebar, Inception, Dark Knight, Spacebar.
Spacebar. I have a top 5, but there's nothing in the other 3.
Just no movie's good enough to be 1 and 2 or 5.
So, Alex, if you had to pick between a Michael Cera movie or a Seth Rogen movie, which one are you going
Seth
to go
Rogen.
see? Oh, wow.
Hate Michael
That was
Cera's
quick.
face.
That was quick.
I'm going to call up Seth Rogen right quick, be like, hey, man, can you do me a huge favor? Can you remake American Pickle with Michael Cera in it, please? Just take it. Just do the whole movie again.
Yeah, he's the pickle.
So, Alex, I have a show for you to watch.
Oh God.
It's on Netflix. It's called Arrested Development.
Oh, no. Don't. I don't want to hear the review.
Yeah, no, I don't either, actually.
I'm gonna look this up and I'm gonna watch it.
Just-
I'm gonna
Just
tear
watch
it
the
apart.
first 3 seasons.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just the first 3. How many are there?
5?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is
think.
it still going? They kind of
But
just
the,
go
yeah,
back to it.
but the last seasons don't count. Just the first 3.
I know I have very controversial tastes, or I know Matt would probably be like, "No, you just have bad taste."
Five.
I mean, because I've also been on the record for saying that I think Ragnarok, the Thor Ragnarok movie, is overrated, very much overrated, and I actually like the King Arthur movie. I know Ryan and I agree on those 2.
I got King Arthur sitting right here. But Alex, I also want to get an 8.5 to do 2 hours of 2 monsters punching each other, or 3.
Oh,
monsters,
of
or whatever.
Godzilla. I
Oh, was
liked
that
it.
movie?
Yeah, I liked it. I'm excited for whatever the title of the next one's coming out.
Yeah, me too.
So the Godzilla movies.
He's like, I
Godzilla
hated
versus
it.
Kong.
But I'm gonna watch the next one.
How can
I
you?
love-
Why would
I love
anyone hate
Godzilla.
a Godzilla movie? Like, I mean, I can understand if you don't like a Godzilla movie because like big fighting monsters aren't your thing, but you're gonna get that in the movie. Like, if you're a fan of that, man, the plot of this movie sucks. I'm like, are you really coming to see the plot, or are you coming
That's
to see
what
these
I
monsters
said.
fight each other?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Matt, have you
I
seen
completely.
Destroy?
I feel like I have.
That's like
Yes.
it's like number 28. I don't know. It's where there's like the little baby Godzilla.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna protect people.
I just know that in that first Godzilla movie, like the one, whatever, 8 years ago, I just lost it. Like I very rarely get excited when I see a film, but like as soon as he does his first like, breath thing, yeah, his scales start lighting up on his back. That was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, the first one's like an appetizer because it just doesn't happen that much. I mean, there's not that much fighting, to be honest. It's like, all right, we're about an hour in, and we're gonna see some fight and go. Okay, an hour and 15. Come on.
Yeah.
And then
Self-
King of the Monsters is completely the other way around. It's like constant fighting, which I loved it. I think I shared this on the page, but I think they were like on comicbook.com. They were discussing what worthy opponent for Godzilla should be in the next one. And I didn't know this was a thing, but apparently there's Space Godzilla. And I was like, okay.
I'm impartial to this.
What is he? Can he float more or something?
He wears a helmet. He's got one of those big helmets on.
Mecha Godzilla.
So the other Godzilla's fire breath doesn't hurt him. It just goes around. I'm excited for it either way.
It's not Destroy All Monsters. It's the Final Wars. Godzilla Final Wars.
Okay.
I don't want someone in the comments to be like, "You're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about."
Oh, that's gonna happen with me. Everybody's gonna say that to me. I'm used to it.
You're wrong. You don't. I mean, everyone's entitled to their own bad taste. Like that's fine. They're their own poor opinion.
That's another thing. What's a bad movie? I've already revealed mine of King Arthur. What's a bad movie generally viewed by the public that you personally enjoy?
I mean, I feel like everyone's got those. I mean, definitely have like guilty pleasures that like I'll watch. I'm trying to think. Well, I don't know why this is the first thing that pops in my mind, but like I'll watch Dude, Where's My Car? And that movie is horrible.
I wouldn't call it horrible. It's just dumb. It's something to throw on.
Yeah. So I can't really think I'd have to. Man, I really like that Avatar: The Last Airbender movie.
You're fine.
And that's when everybody's devices just blow up. It's like, oh man, what happened? Matt said he liked Airbender, and then all time froze. Well, I mean, I know.
Wait, hold on. I just got a call from Netflix. They want to know if I can help them make their TV show.
It's in good hands.
Just thought of a joke, but I can't say it. Can't say it. No, another one of mine is I actually enjoyed the Batman versus Superman film. I liked it. So I think Ben Affleck got a little bit of a raw deal. Because he never got.
I don't think he's a bad part in that movie.
He's not.
I just don't like the ending of the movie, personally.
I think that's fair to say that the ending is a little.
Why'd you say Martha?
That's my mom's name.
It's the most annoying thing ever. So I have no problem with Ben Affleck as Batman. He's fine.
So
I don't know if I have a guilty pleasure. Like I can't really think of one off the top of my head. Seriously,
all the movies I like are good movies. You guys suck.
I don't watch bad movies. All the ones I watch are the best.
I don't know. I mean, my favorite movie of all time is Lucky Number 11. So.
Oh yeah, I
don't know if anybody else likes that movie, but yeah, that's my.
Well, this is Clint's
favorite
copy.
Movie.
I just have everybody's movies. Ryan, you need to give me a movie that I can hold and never watch.
This isn't even technically my collection behind me.
So it's a borrowed collection.
I do know that Clint's most overrated film is Titanic.
Yes.
One that he sees as overrated, so.
Just
Near, far, The hot dogs go on.
I will turn you off, Alex.
Come on, you can't hate Celine Dion. You can hate the movie, but you can't hate Celine.
Oh,
She's a Canadian.
and I will.
She's a Canadian.
I don't think Titanic is I mean, maybe overrated is a good word, but I don't think it's bad at all.
I'm gonna go
Like-
crying in my 3-disc Blu-ray copy of Titanic.
It's just later tonight, Ryan just watching it.
Oh, I think
I'm
the-
so sad.
I think there are elements of that movie that are interesting. I think like the class separation, the sinking of the boat, like they're like the whole party, like the separate parties and like the classes and everything, and that all that stuff I think is interesting. But I think that she could have moved over. Like, didn't they do like MythBusters on this?
Not only that,
Was that door
She's-
wide enough?
she's kind of a dick there, and then she's also kind of a dick where these people are looking for this jewel, and she's like, haha, I got it. Deuces.
Yeah, right.
Like, really? They took you out here. Like, you're over here like helping them out, but you're also seeing this thing, and you're just gonna be like, you know what? You don't need this. I'm just gonna throw this off the boat right quick.
I remember reading that there was some other big name who almost had the role for Jack, but it didn't work out because of scheduling conflicts. It might have been like either Jake Gyllenhaal or
That sounds right.
Brad Pitt. No, not Brad Pitt, but somebody
think-
else.
I don't think Jake Gyllenhaal wasn't known at all then.
He
That came out in 1998.
That would have been before.
7.
That would have been
Break
before
out
Donnie
role
Darko.
Oh, you're right. True. So I don't know.
Darko was in what, 99?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Donnie.
So.
Darko.
In all honesty, I'm.
It was
I
actually
think
gonna
James
be Will
Cameron
Smith.
Is overrated. I think that James Cameron is overrated. To be honest with you.
His bank
Right.
account would tell you otherwise.
Oh, I'm sure it would. But
so
after T2, it was all downhill from there.
Check
Like-
out my film grosses. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Overrate that.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm sure we'll all be able to really say that whenever these Avatar movies finally come out.
Finally.
All
Finally. I am perplexed. Like, I think the first Avatar movie was just the perfect movie at the perfect time to do it. I just don't know if these sequels are going to resonate, and it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't think they're going to perform poorly, or at least the next one won't perform poorly. I just don't see them doing super well. Who knows?
Well, I think that's where like I think that his overrating comes into is it's like he did this one movie like you said in 2009, but is it really like a cultural defining movie?
I would
I
argue.
mean, because
Go ahead.
I mean, you look at the MCU movies that have like topped some of it, like Star Wars. Like these are all culturally defining movies. I can barely remember what Avatar was about, to be honest with you.
I would argue that it definitely is. I mean, not only because it managed to become the highest grossing film of all time without being, a franchise piece, which now it's of course, becoming.
Yeah.
But I think it was like, as far as its culture goes, it like really, really pushed the technology that 3D's pretty much dead in theaters. But like that was a thing where if you saw it in 3D, you were seeing like the movie everyone else was seeing at the time, and so everyone had to see it at least like twice. And that's kind of an interesting thing to say about a movie where it's like, hey, you have to see it the way it was intended to be watched, but you could also see it and it's a slightly different viewing experience. So I think that was a lot of things people were that helped it progress to be the highest grossing film of all time, because people weren't like expecting anything of it for the first time at all, and then everyone was talking about it, and then everyone was talking about the way it did with what it did with his technology. So
I don't know.
Right.
It just it boggles my mind the outlier that it is, and the fact that it it's the highest isn't. It's still not it's not the highest grossest movie now, is it? It's like-
Marvel
No,
took it.
Endgame.
No, movie 20.
Endgame. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it boggles my mind that it was there for that time period, and then to go on and be sold to Disney and make a theme park attraction, like part of Disney World theme park, and then produce another series of I don't know how many films. I think it's like 4 or 5
Five,
additional
I think.
5
Mhm.
Yeah.
additional films. That this was 11 years ago. It's ridiculous.
Right. And aren't they all supposed to be shot back to back too?
I don't know if anything's supposed to be shot the way it was intended to be shot now, as far as scheduling goes.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I do know that Pandora does have the best food of any Disney park.
Yeah.
That's not like $25 a meal.
Interesting.
I don't know how true that is, but that's definitely my solid opinion right there.
The only thing I
All
can
right.
remember having was a Mickey Mouse head-shaped pretzel
Ugh.
in front of Space Mountain.
And you murdered Mickey's head, didn't you? All right. Well, tune in next week, guys, for one bedroom, not one bear, whatever.
One bird.
There.
One bar.
One burr. And maybe the one and only Ivan. All right, guys. See you next week. Deuces.